Hey everyone, this is Mr. Dufour checking in with you, and today I want to go over the 6 modalities for virtual learning and what that would look in my English 3 classroom for the 2020-2021 school year. We did cover synchronous and asynchronous learning formats in our first cluster, and so these are some that I came up with and conceptualized. Of course, these can be subject to change depending on what my students' needs are and how we pace through blended learning. So the first one we're going to look at is the large group synchronous. I think at the beginning of the week on Monday, I like the idea of setting a preview of the week of what the learning will look like. That would be highlighting main learning objectives from our ELA guidebook lessons, looking at the specific learning activities, the formative assessments, and any reflection pieces that we'll work on during that week. And so I think this would also be a good time for me to go over some basic virtual learning skills as far as Google Classroom navigation, how to open documents, and how to use certain tools that they will need to complete assignments. And then for large group asynchronous, and I'm thinking about as far as the instruction, how that will look like. I think Nearpod will be the best tool for me to deliver the instruction this year, pretty much because we're going to have a set of students in the classroom as well as the other students logging in from home. So with Nearpod, I can actually use Screencastify and embed short segments of lessons. So I may be able to model some close reading that we have to do or a writing task. Anything of that nature that I can use a recorded video, I can directly embed it. And then as the students self-pace through the Nearpod, they can watch the video and then move on to any assessment. So that might be a collaboration board where they have to answer questions or think about or collaborate on a certain topic or answer open-ended questions or a quiz, anything of that nature. And then for a small group synchronous setting, exploring some tools like Google Docs, Padlet, Jamboard, anything where students can collaborate and do it in a small group setting. So I probably would group them maybe 2 to 4 students at a time, and then assign a specific task that's from our lesson to that group. So for example, it may be a Google Doc with a graphic organizer. They might have to participate in sharing Cornell notes or going through segments of information where they have to collaborate. So on Google Docs, I can see the version history of what each student is doing and then track their progress and performance in that manner. For small group asynchronous, this would basically be used for reinforcing and practicing skills. So for the student standards in reading, I would use Common Lit to assign cold reads to my English 3 students. Or for my WIN block for ACT English, I would assign specific activities that pertain to certain ACT skills we've covered that week, and they would self-pace through each of those platforms. And then for individual synchronous and thinking about virtual office hours, I'm thinking it'd be best to facilitate these on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. That's in the middle of the week. That gives us an opportunity for me to check in with students at the midway point, seeing if they're making good progress on their assignments, if they're understanding the concepts or the content that's been covered, and then answer any technology questions that they might have. So I think this would be a good midway point instead of waiting till the end of the week. And then lastly, as we move towards individual asynchronous, again, going back to that Nearpod, students would pace themselves through each lesson with the video instruction embedded, and then they'd have the opportunity to turn in any assignments from Google Classroom. So on Friday. So the expectation would be I would set deadlines for each assignment, and then final hard deadlines would be on Friday. From there, I would provide feedback the following week and monitor their progress. So that's all I have for today. Of course, this is subject to change as we start the beginning of the year and assess what our students need. Welcome your suggestions and look forward to seeing what everyone else came up with. Thank you.